Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, entitled Narad's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasa Dev, text number 36 onwards. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagvat shikshya sakrit grinanti guna namani kranasyanusvaranti cha. While performing duties according to the order of Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his names, and his qualities. So this is the key. While performing the duties, we should constantly remember him, his name, his qualities. An expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. The order of the Lord is distinctly there in the Bhagavad Gita. One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. In every sphere of life, Lord should be situated as a proprietor. So whatever duties we are doing, whether we are in the office, whether we are doing household activities, whether we are doing other activities, taking care of the family also, the idea is we should be able to see Krishna, Krishna's hand, Krishna's energy everywhere. For example, like we are working in the office or we are going in the cab to office. We can understand this cab is made of Krishna's energy only. It all comes from Krishna. Office, every energy, everything comes from Krishna. All the people, they are part and parcels of Krishna. Of course, when we have a fight with our boss or colleague, we don't see that. But this is the key to see. It's Krishna everywhere. Krishna's hand is everywhere. So when we see that, then the chances are we will not have fight with anybody, because we'll see this is also Krishna and Krishna is within me also. So why we are fighting? Of course, I'm not Krishna and that person is not Krishna. That's not what we see. Just like Mayavadis say, when they say, greet each other, they say, Namo Narayan. They see everybody as Narayan. But we don't see everybody as Narayan or Krishna. We see everybody as energy of Krishna or servant of Krishna. So this part, if we see, if we remember, and understanding that Krishna is my best friend, so he will not do anything against me that will be very harmful for me. Whatever he'll do, it'll be beneficial for me. So there won't be any conflicts in the world. The conflict in the world is because we are trying to protect our rights. That's all. That's a major conflict. That's a source of conflict. We think this is my right, I have a right on this property, I have a right on whatever I see, and somebody is taking it away, we have to protect it. But if we see, it's all Krishna's arrangement, and Krishna is my best friend, he will not do anything that is harmful for me, will be any conflict. There won't be any conflict. But this is what we fail to see, and that's why there's so many problems. And this is what Prabhupada is writing. No one else but Lord Krishna can claim to be the proprietor of everything within his creation. A pure devotee remembers this constantly, and in so doing, he repeats the transcendental name, fame, and qualities of the Lord, which means that he is constantly in touch with the Lord. The Lord is identical with his name, fame, etc. And therefore, to be associated with his name, fame, etc. constantly means actually to associate with the Lord. So that's That's the easiest way to associate with the Lord, because we cannot take the deity of Krishna everywhere with us. We cannot take Bhagavatam everywhere with us, but we can take holy name with us anywhere and everywhere. So we can think of him, we can chant his name. In fact, in the office also, at a desk, we can, if not loudly, obviously it won't be possible, but whisper is always there. Softly we can chant his name. So that is a way to remember Krishna all the time. And that's why Prabhupada has given us many practices for Vaishnavas, which are like put on a tilak, just like Radha Krishna Prabhu goes to office in a tilak. So whenever somebody sees Radha Krishna Prabhu, he'll remember Krishna only. Oh, he's a devotee of Krishna. So it's a wonderful way to remember Krishna. And then the names are given in such a way that we remember Krishna, like Radha Krishna, or his initiated name is Radha Damodar. So we remember that. That's a good way of remembering Krishna. The idea is whatever we're doing, we should remember Krishna. The Rupa Goswami says there are only two principles in bhakti. Only two. That's it. The rest, all the principles are the servants of these principles. And what are those major principles? And that's it. These are two. This is the essence of all scriptures, whole bhakti literatures, all the discussions, everything. Just two principles. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's it. This is it. These are the two principles for any devotee. For all the devotional literatures. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And that's all we have to do. And then Prabhupada is writing, which is a very nice line for all the householders. The major portion of a monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Shri Krishna. The major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, 50, not 15, 50%, 50, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. So does that mean we donate half of our income? Well, once Tamal Krish Maharaj, he was giving lecture, he said, if you donate half of your income, you don't even have to chant. Krishna will take care of everything. The thing is, if we donate 50% of our income, half of our income, then there is no other way to live except being a devotee, because devotee is a very simple life. But no, this is not what actual meaning is. One can donate as much as can, but Prabhupada writing, we have to spend 50% in the service of Krishna. So spend 50% means like at home, if we are taking care of the house as a house of Krishna, this is a temple of Krishna. We are preparing prasadam, we're cooking bhoga for Krishna, offering the items to Krishna. And obviously we have to donate some amount for the service of Krishna, for the service of, for the propagation of Krishna's teachings. So all along, if you can spend at least 50% in that way, it's good. Of course, one has to be practical also. One has to save some money for future emergency expenses, save some money to bring up kids nicely. Everything is there. So one has to be practical, but at the same time, one should donate something for the service of Krishna. Whatever we donate, actually, charity purifies the money. Whatever income we have, it is attached with lots of karma. So when we do charity, it purifies that income. 50% it says in scriptures, but generally people I've seen in Christianity, in Islam, in Sikhism, they do donate like at least 10% of their income they donate. They make sure they donate that. So that's where the word tithing comes from. We have to tithe, we have to donate. So charity actually purifies the income. And also, what charity does, when we really give wholeheartedly, not grudgingly, so charity also opens our heart. It makes our heart bigger. And that is when, once the physical heart or the feelings of giving are there, that opens up our the channel for divine energy to come in. Because if the heart doesn't open, the mind or the brain to receive the divine energy will not open also. So both have to open simultaneously to make proper progress in bhakti. Suppose we are chanting so much, and we don't do not just charity, we have to do service also, because our heart has to open up, love has to come, compassion has to be there. So if only the brain is opening or mind is opening for the inflow of divine energy, and it's not coming out through the heart as compassion, as a mood of service, as a mood of in a humble mood, then that energy or the divine energy, it will not have proper effect on us. So these two avenues have to be really worked upon. So heart has to be open up, means generosity has to be there. Other virtues have to be developed also. That is mostly connected with the heart. So heart has to be opened up, and then the divine energy can come in with great force. Then the mercy will come in with great force. So we have to be generous, we have to do charity, we have to do service in a humble mood with tolerance, that we have to develop those qualities. And then we can claim the mercy of Krishna to flow in properly. Although it's a long purport, so I will not go over the whole purport. Prabhupada makes very nice points. And Prabhupada says, in this fallen age of quarrel and dissension, if only the leading and wealthy persons of society agree to give 50% of their income in the service of the Lord, as it is taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is absolute certainty of converting this hell of pandemonium to the transcendental abode of the Lord. But it's not just if the wealthy give 50%, then everything will change. It's the persons who are receiving the money, receiving the donation, they have to be engaged fully, wholly, humbly, patiently in the service of the Lord. And they should be engaging that money also properly in the service of the Lord. Then the world will change. Means the world will change when we change ourselves, when our heart changes, when there is transformation in our heart. That is most important. So then Prabhupada is writing, one can remain in his position. No one has to change his position, especially in this age of variegated difficulties. Means no one has to change his position means if one is a grahastha, one is a, he can remain a grahastha, there's no problem. If one, he doesn't have to change his ashram, all he has to change is transform the heart. That's all. The only condition is that one must give up the habit of dry speculation and aimed at becoming one with the Lord, means that Mayavada philosophy. And after giving up such lofty, puffed up vanities, one may very submissively receive the orders of the Lord in Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam. That will make everything successful without a doubt. So means one has to transform his heart, understand that I am a servant of the Lord and everything actually belongs to the Lord. And it's been given in my care for proper utilization in the service of the Lord. Whatever assets I have, whatever capabilities I have, whatever qualities I have, they are given to me by the mercy of the Lord to be used in the service of the Lord. That's all. Text 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Anuruddhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha Let us chant the glories of Vasudeva along with his plenary expansions, Pradyumna, Anirudh, and Sankarshan. So all this Chatur view that Narada Muni is talking about. So the purport is that any transaction, either in the field of fruitive work or in empiric philosophy, which is not ultimately aimed at transcendental realization of the Supreme Lord, is considered to be useless. Naradji has therefore explained the nature of unalloyed devotion service by his personal experience in the development of intimacy between the Lord and the living entity by a gradual process of progressive devotional activities. Such a progressive march of transcendental devotion of the Lord culminates in the attainment of loving service of the Lord. So then Narad Muni gave his final instruction: just chant the glories of the holy name, chant the name of the Lord, and this is the culmination of our activities. Now the question which was raised by the great rishis headed by Shaunak regarding the confidential part of Suta's achievement through the spiritual masters is explained herein by the chanting of this hymn consisting of 33 letters. And this mantra is addressed to 4 deities or the Lord with his plenary expansions. So this mantra is there when Narad Muni chanted this mantra. But for us, in Kali-yuga, in this day and age, the mantra that is given is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if we chant that, we'll get the desired result, and the result that is not just the desired, but that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is, in fact, he says in this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in this holy name, Krishna has put in all his energies. Namna Makari Bahuda, Nich Sarva Shaktis. So Krishna has invested all his energies in this holy name. And by chanting, by offenselessly chanting these holy names, one can attain the topmost destination, which is Golok Vrindavan, and one can attain loving service of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan just by chanting of this holy name of Krishna. In this day and age, because the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is added along with this holy name. That's why Rupa Goswami called that Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. You are most munificent because you have appeared in this age of Kali to give Krishna Prem to everybody, regardless of their position, whatever education qualification they have, whatever. It doesn't matter. You have appeared to give Krishna Prem wholly and freely to everybody. So this is the effect of chanting of the holy names. But Krishna Prem doesn't mean that we just love Krishna sentimentally and doesn't love anybody else. Krishna doesn't mean only Krishna. Krishna means Krishna, his incarnations, his paraphernalia, his creation, his devotees. So once who loves Krishna, he loves everything related to Krishna. And there is nothing that is not related to Krishna. So this is a point, key point. Iti murtya vidhanena mantra murti mamurtikam yajate yajya purusham sa samyak darshana puman. Thus he is the actual seer who worships in the form of transcendental sound representation the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who has no material form. So Narad Muni says, so he who worships in the form of transcendental sound representation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who has no material form. Many times we read this everywhere, Nirakar, Nirakar, Dhandan Nirakar, Ek Tu Hi Nirakar. So Krishna is not Nirakar. He doesn't have material form. He has spiritual form. It doesn't mean he doesn't have spiritual form. He definitely has spiritual form. In Bhagavad Gita, he clearly says, I appear in my own energy, under the spell of my own energy, I appear. So that spiritual form is there, but the best way to worship him is by chanting of his holy names. Of course, the other ways also there. Pancharatrik Vidhi, the worshiping of deity form, deity worship is there. But all that basically lead to, so we can chant his holy names properly. Here, Prabhupada, the transcendental form of eternal bliss and knowledge can be experienced by our original spiritual senses, which can be revived by chanting the holy names or transcendental sound representation. When we chant it properly, when we start the service with the tongue, then our senses can be spiritualized, senses can be purified, and then we can see the Lord, the form of the Lord properly. But that doesn't mean the chanting will stop. Chanting will still go on at a different level of consciousness. The chanting will still go on. Imam swanigmam brahman navetya madanushtitam adanya jnanam aishwaryam swasmin bhavam prakeshvaha. O Brahman, thus by the Supreme Lord Krishna, I was endowed first with the transcendental knowledge of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas, then with the spiritual opulences, and then with this intimate, loving service. So this is what happens. Narada Muni, when he kept on chanting, and he also meditated on the Supreme Lord. So this is what he received. How he received? I was first endowed with the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas. So knowledge of the Lord comes with bhakti. When we engage in devotion service, knowledge will definitely come. But because this is a question of Mosami Mataji, by knowledge, we won't get bhakti. But by bhakti, we will get the knowledge and the right knowledge. And then he said, then I got spiritual opulences, and then with this intimate, loving service. So all this will come gradually. Communion with the Lord by transmission of the transcendental sound is non-different from the whole spirit, Lord Shri Krishna. It is completely perfect method for approaching the Lord. By such pure contact with the Lord, without offense or material conceptions, the devotee can rise above the material plane to understand the inner meaning of the Vedic literatures. The Lord reveals his identity gradually to one who has unflinching faith both in the spiritual master and in the Lord. After this, the devotee is endowed with mystic opulences, which are 8 in number. So devotee can get all these Ashtasiddhis. So even Ashtasiddhis are in the hands of devotees. They can get. But actually what happens is they don't like to use them, because these siddhis can distract one from the path of bhakti. A pure devotee is more interested in serving the Lord than in showing an exhibition of the mystic powers dormant in him. So Sri Narada Muni has all the mystic powers, and sometimes he uses those just to show, but otherwise he doesn't need. Like he travels in the space, he flies in the space. That's one of the siddhis. Don't we wish we can travel in the space, or at least we can just fly from here to, say, Vrindavan or to Jagannath Puri to Mayapur every day and come back? But obviously Krishna will not go give those opulences until he knows we are not going to misuse them. And then Prabhupada writes, there is no bar for chanting this transcendental sound by anyone, provided it is received through Narada's representative, coming down by the chain of disciplic succession or the parampara system. So the last verse of this chapter, Tvam api adabra ashruta vishrutam vibho samapyate yen vidam babupsitam kakyahi dukher muhur ditatmanam suncho shanir vanam ushanti nanyatha. Please, therefore, describe the Almighty Lord's activities, which you have learned by your vast knowledge of the Vedas, for that will satisfy the hankerings of great learned men, and at the same time mitigate the miseries of the masses of common people who are always suffering from material pangs. Indeed, there is no other way to get out of such miseries. So this is what Narada Muni is saying to Vyasa Dev. Now, you please describe the glories or activities of the Lord. And because that's the only way to get out of this miserable condition of So Sri Naraji advised Vyasa Dev to describe the glories of the Lord, just to do good to all 8 classes of men, both good and bad. Srimad Bhagavatam is therefore not meant for any particular class of men or sect. It is for the sincere soul who actually wants his own welfare and peace of mind. So what are good and bad classes? Then Prabhupada has written. So good class is when Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, 4 kinds of people are pious who come to me. Artho, Jigyasur, Artharthi and Jnani. And bad, those who are simply addicted to mode of progressive fruitive work, means karmis. Those are simply addicted to vicious work for sense gratification and so suffer the consequences. Those who are materially very much advanced in knowledge but who suffer because they do not have the sense to acknowledge authority of the Lord, and the class of men who are known as atheists. So that also is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Those 4 classes of men who do not come to him, and those 4 classes of men who come to him. So all these 8 classes of men, regardless whether they come to him or not come to him, if they hear the glories of the holy name, they will get purified. So the chapter ends here, and it's also 8:59. I'll see anybody has any questions or comments. Wow, no questions. I like that.
Hare Krishna.
So I guess we can stop here.
No, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
In verse 39, out of 8 opulences and 10 offenses of material conceptions. What are they, Prabhuji? Just for knowledge.
8 opulences or 10 offenses?
8 opulences and 10 offenses.
Well, 10 offenses are thus Namaprad, the offenses against the holy name.
Namaprad. Okay.
Yeah, and the 8 opulences are the siddhis, anima, lagima, prapti, prakamya. Like those siddhis are there. Details are given later on in Bhagavatam of the siddhis.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
You will. Chaitanya Prabhu, we can't hear you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just asking about what is this
Hare
Hare. What exactly is the Ashtasiddhis, and can throw some light on this? Ashtasiddhi.
Ashtasiddhis, as I said, like anima. Anima means one can become smaller than the smallest. Lagima, he can become heavier than the heaviest. And then the other, prakamya, like one can get anything what he wants. I don't remember right now all of them and the details. If you want, next class, I can get all the details and explain it to you.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji, sure.
I mean, just like many times we see some yogis, they can fly from one place to another. Like there was a yogi, Prabhupada used to explain in Calcutta. Anybody would go to him, he would just extend his hand and he would get a anar, a pomegranate from Kabul in his hand. So that's a prapti siddhi. It's nothing, it's just a yogic siddhi. And one can get those siddhis if he does lots of tapasya. But ultimately, we are not interested in those siddhis. We are interested in serving the Lord. And there's a funny incident, like one person from a village, he went to the Himalayas and he did tapasya over there for 20, 25 years. And he got all these siddhis. And he came back to his village. So in the village, there was a river. So all the villagers gathered around. They said, "Okay, what can you do? What have you learned?" He said, "Oh, I got these siddhis, and I can give you a demonstration that I can walk on this water, river water, and I go to the other side of the river and I come back." So all the villagers, they said, "Oh, sure, sure, sure." And this boy did, and he had this siddhi of becoming lighter than the lightest. So he became so light he could walk on water, cross a river, and then came back. But then there was an intelligent person also in the village, and he said, "What is this siddhi? You spent 20, 25 years to get this siddhi to walk on water. This is worth only 20 paisa, because I give 20 paisa to the boatman and he can take me on his boat to the other side of the river and come back. What's the point in wasting so much time in attaining this siddhi?" Well, the idea is not to attain the siddhis. Idea is to attain love for Krishna. That will take us back to the spiritual world, not the siddhis.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
You
Nice.
will. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. And you all have a wonderful day. Don't think about the siddhis. We don't need those siddhis. Just think about Krishna all day. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much.